Pressure loves blurry language, a vague criticism, a loose demand, a sentence that sounds serious but gives you nothing solid to work with. Most people hear the tone, feel the urgency, and start defending themselves immediately. That's how pressure wins twice. First, it makes the room tense. Then it makes you answer a problem that still has no clear shape. Vagueness is powerful because it lets the other person imply more than they commit to. They can sound decisive without being exact. They can pressure you without fully exposing what they are actually claiming. That matters because once you answer a vague accusation, you help complete it. You fill in the missing detail. You choose an interpretation. You start explaining against a target that can still move. Under pressure, this happens fast. Someone says, "This isn't working," or "You've made this harder than it needed to be," or "People are concerned." Each line creates urgency without clarity. It asks for a response before the issue has been pinned down. The composed move is simple. Make them specify. Not to be difficult. Not to score points. To make reality hold still long enough for a clean response. Precision slows panic. Precision reduces shadowboxing. Precision turns a cloud into something with edges. You cannot answer well what has not been stated clearly. You're in a conversation about a project that has started slipping. The other person leans forward and says, "The real problem is that your communication has been inconsistent." It lands heavily because it sounds concrete, but it is still broad enough to contain almost anything. You could defend your updates, your tone, your timing, your decisions, your availability. The vagueness invites you to over-answer. If you rush, you lose. You start listing examples, justifying choices, trying to cover every angle. Now the pressure rises because the target keeps shifting while you keep working harder. A steadier response does less. You pause and ask, which part was inconsistent? Or, what specifically was missing? The mood changes immediately. Time reappears. The conversation has to move from implication to detail. Sometimes the issue is real. Sometimes it weakens the moment it is defined. Either way, you are no longer wrestling fog. You are dealing with something that can actually be examined. That is composure, not silence, not passivity. Just enough control to refuse vagueness as the operating condition. Ask, what specifically do you mean? Use it when pressure comes wrapped in broad language. Clarify the implication before responding. Once the issue has edges, you can respond cleanly. Before that, you are only reacting to atmosphere. Do not argue with blur. Make it become exact. Pressure becomes harder to manage when the issue stays vague and the clock keeps moving. Ask for precision, and the room often gets calmer immediately. Not because the pressure disappears, but because it finally has a shape. That's the principle. Now go practice.